Hi, Donald Dem here with Floating Feathers Kayak Fly Fishing School. I recently did a couple posts on Instagram and Facebook regarding some new fly tying kits from Flymen Fishing Company. There'll be some info in the description below this video about all the things I'm going to show you today, including the equipment and tools and the kits themselves. Um, Flymen Fishing Company uh, just released these kits. It is December 2020 at the time of this video, and these kits are I think they vary in price just a little bit depending on the amount of materials and the style of fly. Um, the one we're going to do today is the from the fly tying kit from Flymen Fishing Company is the Bass Bug, and it's this one here. I'll try to get that so the lights reflecting just enough. It's the Bass Bug. It uses some of their proprietary components and materials, um, such as their surface seducer popper heads. They got the surface seducer hooks. They've got about everything you need in here, except for three things. They don't have the thread, the tools, or the glue. So you're going to have to supply that for yourself. I have tied these style of flies with uh, most of the stuff that's probably going to be in this kit, or at least that's what it lists on the back. Before, but I had to buy all the individual stuff. This is brand new kits. So the stuff that I bought before were just the popper heads and the hooks, basically, and the eyes from Flymen Fishing Company, and then I supplied all my own feathers and rubber legs and things like that it takes to tie this fly. Um, that being said, I'm very interested to see the quality that goes into these. I really like Flymen Fishing Company's products and the quality of their stuff. One little caveat: I'm not getting paid or sponsored by Flymen Fishing Company, so this is just me doing a video on a product that I like on a company that I like on a brand new product, and that's their fly tying kits. I'm also doing another video for a different kit, so at the end of this, if you're interested, watch for that one. And I'll post a link in the video below once that video becomes available. But for right now, we're going to do this Bass Bug kit. It is $16.95. It gives you enough materials to tie 6 of these poppers. It has assorted colors in here. I'm not sure what the colors are. But again, $17 for 6 flies is actually really good. And it's a novice level. So you don't have to be an expert to tie this kind of fly. This kind of fly. It should be really simple and easy. It's supposed to come with instructions, step by step. All the stuff is supposed to be in here. I have not opened this yet. So kind of give you the agenda of the rest of this video. We're going to have an unboxing, and I have not opened this. This is still sealed. I have been tempted to open this on several occasions, but I really wanted you to see my real reaction when I open this. One, to make sure that what is in the kit is in the kit. Two is whether or not I'm satisfied with the color, the quality, everything else that goes along with it. So I wanted you to see my real reaction. I didn't want a fake one or anything like that. I wanted you to get something real, so you can see that I'm genuine and my reactions are genuine and 100% real here. So we're going to unbox it, which may take a little bit movement of camera. So the unboxing, you may see a different angle on the camera here. And then I'm going to change camera positions, and we're going to tie one of these using the included instructions. And I am going to try my best to tie just as the instructions state. But there is a caveat here. In my daytime job that pays the bills, I actually write instructions. I write instructions for a lot of different things. So I may look at this with a degree of scrutiny that most of you may not. So I'll try to keep my opinions to myself until the end. But as I said, we're going to unbox it. We're going to tie one fly, and then we're going to do kind of a review, and I'll give it stars out of 10 stars or 5 stars or whatever. I'll give it X out of 5 stars for a few different things. So if you're interested, please keep watching. The next thing we're going to do is, actually, one thing. Since this is a Novice kit, and you may not have some of your a full fly tying kit, but you don't need something like that. What I'm going to be using today, now I have a whole drawer full of stuff here that I could use, a whole drawer full of stuff. But I'm going to use this small kit here. So for those of you that are not used to tying or don't have a whole drawer full of tools like I do, this little kit from Umpqua is perfect for this fly. It has everything you need in it. It has a pair of scissors. It has a bobbin. It has a whip finisher. It has a threading tool, and it has a bodkin. It also comes with a hair stacker and a hackle plier, but you're not going to need either one of those for this kit. But from the link for this and the link for the kit and the link for everything else you're going to see here, including the Renzetti saltwater traveler vise that I will be tying on, and all the recording equipment will be in the description below. So with that being said, I'm going to change some camera positions, and then we're going to do a unboxing. Okay, so we have the fly tying kit here for the bass bug. We're going to go ahead and unbox this, or open it if you will. So Flymen Fishing Company. I'm kind of surprised. We're just going to kind of dump everything out here, see what we have. All right, so it's a nice looking kit so far. All right, we've got a few pairs of rubber legs in different colors. I'll put my hand behind there, maybe you can see that a little bit better. We've got some feathers, some hackle feathers for the collars, different colors. We've got assorted colors of popperhead, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. It looks like there's 6 or more of the feathers, so we're good there. We've got some other feathers to kind of match. We've got a set of eyes, and these are 20 eyes, so they actually give you a couple more. So if you mess one or two up, you're actually pretty good, I think, because you only need 12. So you've got 8 extra ones here. So thanks, Flymen Fishing Company, for that. Then you've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hooks. So there's the Surface Seducer hooks. So that is the kit. The materials come in the kit, and the set of instructions. Nice looking photos in here. Looks pretty close to step by step. Like I said, we're going to follow these instructions as best we can to the letter, so to speak. And we're going to do that in just a moment. So give me just a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and get this camera set up for tying, and we're going to put one of these together. Okay, we've got everything set up here. We've got the I've got all the materials kind of sitting on my desktop here. You can't really see it on my workbench, tying desk, whatever you want to call it. I've got the instructions open, and I'm going to read the instructions word for word, and then perform that step. So step 1, push a bodkin or heated needle through the tail socket and through the body until it comes out slightly above and just past the bottom lip. So we're going to look at the head here, and they want it, this is the tail section, this is the head, this is the part that the water goes in that makes it pop. So, excuse me, we want to push a bodkin or a heated needle into the tail socket and through the body until it comes out slightly above and just past the bottom lip. So there's the bottom lip. So we don't want it to angle like this, right? We don't want it up like this. We don't want it too far up here. We want it almost straight. So we want it just above that lip. So your bodkin's going to go like, if you look at it, kind of like the bottom of the eye. That's about where you want it. You can heat your bodkin up with a lighter if you want to, if it makes it a little bit easier. I just kind of rest my hand on the vise so it doesn't slip too much. And then I just push and churn just a little bit. And see if we can't get this thing to come through. So there we go. There is just below the bottom lip. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to pull that out. I meant to pull it just back, just a touch. There we go. Come on, get in there. There we go. So, just above the bottom lip, right in line with the bottom of the eye, if you will. So there's your hole. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2, cover the hook shank with thread wraps in a crisscross fashion to prevent the foam body from twisting. So it doesn't really say what thread to use. So you can use a medium thread if you need to. I'm going to use a bass thread from Orvis. It's a G thread is what they call it. It's a pretty thick thread. because bass are going to be hitting this and possibly saltwater. So I want to make sure that I've got that hook tight. So I'm just going to start the thread here and cover the hook shank with thread wraps in a crisscross fashion to grip the foam body and prevent twisting. So we're going to start up here. Just kind of nice sparsely spaced wraps here. And your foam body is going to sit right on that little hump. So we're just going to kind of crisscross like they said. And I'm going to stop right there. Okay. I'm going to cut my thread off. Tag end. Okay, so there's step 2. Step 3, put a liberal amount of super glue on the hook shank. So we're going to figure out what kind of hook. It doesn't tell you to do this, but we're going to go ahead and do this, and we're going to whip finish because we have to have the thread bobbin off. So we're going to go ahead and cut our thread away. There we go. So now we're going to put super glue or whatever you have. I've got some super glue here that works just fine. It's not super duper glue, but it works just fine. So I'm going to put a liberal amount of super glue on the hook shank. So here we go. Super glue, maybe, if it comes out, if it's not too dry. Okay, that's a little too dry. Gotta love videos that aren't edited. There we go. There's a nice amount of super glue. Okay, if you want to, you can sit something underneath your vise so the super glue doesn't drip and fall. That might be a nice idea. And then slowly push the double barrel popper head onto the hook, position as desired, and leave to dry. So you want to wait about an hour or 2 before tying further. So that's something. We're going to have to push this on here. And you want to push it just so the hook point, the hook eye right there, comes out just enough, right? You don't want to push it all the way back like this. That's not right. Okay, I'm going to bring that forward just a touch. Okay, I'm going to recover that with glue. But that's something I want to bring up. You don't want to push it back too far. So put a little bit more glue on there. And then we're going to slide this up just so that foam and that hook eye is just outside that foam. Okay, so now what I'm going to do as it says, I'm going to let this dry for an hour, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so it's been about an hour. We let our head dry. It's pretty secure on there. We're going to take the next step, which is step number 5. And that says place a dragon eye in each socket, secure in place using a dab of super glue, being careful not to get glue on the outside of the eye, or you can use UV clear coat. So basically what we're going to do is take 2 eyes and put them in the eye socket, right? So I'm going to take an eye here, and I'm going to use this product here, which is Solares fly tying resin in the thin hard formula. I find that if you have a rotary vise, you can turn this on its side and put a little drop of fly tying resin in there, and then gently put your eye in. You can be careful as to which way your eye is facing. You can make it look like a frog, you can make it look like an insect, a fish, whatever you want it to look like. You can turn it to 45 straight up and down, directly sideways, whatever. I kind of like it like that. It's got a nice little look to it. If you don't have a rotary vise, it's a little more difficult to put it in there, but it's not super hard. I'm going to go ahead and hit this with the UV light to dry that glue in there. Okay, one more time. All right, that's good enough for now. We're going to get an eye on the other side. Eye number 2. Got that in my hand ready to go. Little drop of the resin. Place the eye in there, trying to get it. You can use your bodkin to help position that eye if you need to. Just so you can try to get about the same angle of deflection, if you will, or position that the other eye is in. If you use super glue, you can just wait a few moments and let it dry. Okay, so that is the head so far. If you're if you're only going to tie one fly at a time, and you've got an hour to wait before you continue for tying the fly. That's great. If you're going to get this kit, excuse me, if you're going to get this kit and you want to tie all 6 flies, I would just go to this point on each one of those flies and then come back once they're all 6 dry, so then you can repeat the following steps. That's going to be the most time efficient thing for you to do. So if you want to tie all 6 flies, just go ahead and do all 6 heads, and then you can come to this point and begin tying the next step. That being said, number 6, we're going to choose 1 or 2 marabou feather tufts for the center of the tail. Place them on the hook shank and secure with thread wraps. So in order to do that, we have to start our thread again. So we're going to start our thread just behind the Flymen fish head right here. And we're going to trim our tag end. There we go. So now we're going to grab a couple marabou feathers. There's 2 types of feathers in the kit. There are marabou feathers, which are, in case you're not familiar with marabou feathers, they're short and they're really fluffy. That's these, really fluffy, short, kind of very nice, pretty feathers. This is called a hackle feather. Can come from the same bird. If really, most of the hackle feathers are going to come from chickens. A lot of your marabou comes from turkey. There are chicken marabou, but that is a difference. So there is a marabou feather, there's a hackle feather. There are 2 different sizes of hackle feathers. There's long hackle feathers and there's some shorter hackle feathers. We'll get into the difference in just a moment. But we're going to take 1 or 2 of these marabou tufts, and we're going to kind of comb this back a little bit. And we want this to come back probably about 1.5 times the length of the hook. We don't want this whole thing sitting back there. That's a little too long. So I'm just going to measure the length of the hook from the bend all the way to the very front of that head. And that's what I'm going to snip off that excess right here. And then I'm going to lay this so that the feathers, you don't want to lay it like sideways, because it's gonna kind of come out and be flat. And I want it to kind of round. So we're going to take a nice little loose wrap here, and then loose wrap, and then going to pull up. And that's going to keep it on the top side of that hook. I'm just going to get a few nice wraps, make sure it's nice and taut. Okay, there's our marabou tuft. There's 1, and we're going to put a second tuft in there. So we're going to do this one. Remember, flat, right, or fluffy like this. And this one's really long, so you can just lay it up there and get the same length as the other one. So it's right about in there. I'm going to snip that, grab those, and I'm going to tie that in. There we go. A couple of nice marabou tufts. Pull that nice and tight. There's our marabou. Flows nice and easy. All right, so that was step 6. Step 7. Tie in 1 or 2 hackle feathers on either side of the hook, splayed outward. So what that means is that you want the feather, see if I can find something here, splayed outward. So when the feather comes out, and this is a long feather, but kind of show you want it out like this. So it kind of looks like frog legs, right? So you want it out like this from the hook and out like this from the hook on this side. That being said, I'm going to use 2 different colors so you can see this. I'm going to use this short white one here. So we want to tie in 1 or 2 hackle feathers, and we're just going to tie in 1 on each side. We want it about just a little bit longer than our marabou tuft, just a little bit. So I want it right about in there. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. And I'm going to tie this on the side. If you have a rotary vise, like this lovely Renzetti Saltwater Traveler that I absolutely love, it makes this a whole lot easier. You want to get that on the side of the hook as much as you can. I'm going to come back a little bit. There we go. And I missed it because I got just the feathers. There we go. That makes a whole lot easier, doesn't it? See, everybody makes mistakes. All right, so there's that. If you don't have a rotary vise, that's not a big deal. You can get a rotary vise from a whole lot of different places. They're really cheap, or you can still do this with a regular vise. You just have to use it on the side, and I'll show you, for those that don't have a rotary vise, how you do that on the side. So we're just going to make sure that this feather, I'm not going to show you this because it's easier to show you. You want to make sure this feather goes out like this. See how this is? You don't want it going into the body, you want it coming out. So that being said, for those that don't have a rotary vise, you're just going to hold it on the opposite side, make one little loose wrap, make sure it's positioned right. See how it's up just a little bit too high? So now I positioned it where I need it to, and we can tie that in. There we go. All right, now we're going to secure that. There we go. Good. So there is 2 Marabou feathers on the Marabou tufts on the back and 2 Hackle feathers. On step 7, continued, it says plus rubber leg strands. Doesn't say how many rubber leg strands to tie in, so we're just going to tie 2. And then it says the tail should extend half a hook shank length past back of hook. Well, they probably should have said that before you tied in the Marabou feathers, because now it's a little too late to set the length. However, if you do what I said, you're fine. So continue with step 7. We're going to tie some rubber legs in. And we're just going to lay those kind of on top, or you can do it this way, where you can just take the 2 legs, take it around your thread, hold it about in the middle, and then place your legs on top, just like that. And then you can tie the legs in just like that. Okay. Now, if the instructions were written just a little bit different, you would have added the legs first and then the feathers, so that the legs are on the outside of the feathers. But it's not going to make that big a deal. It's still going to get you some nice action. So the next step is step 8. Tie in 1 or 2 tie in 1 or 2 saddle hackle feathers behind the head, then wrap around the hook shank to build up a small collar. So what we're going to do is going to take one of these longer hackle feathers, and I'm going to use the green one here. And you can kind of splay these out a little bit. And that one's really not the quality that I'm looking for. It's still good to be, this one would be a great feather for the back here, but I want something a little bit longer. So try to get your longer feathers with these nice fine feathers down here. We can trim all this excess off, these fine fluffy little feathers that don't really do much. Now it does not say whether to tie in the tip or the end, but we're going to tie in the tip is what we're going to do. We're going to bring our head thread right to the back where everything is kind of sitting. I'm just going to tie that right on top with a few wraps. Make sure it's secure. Bring our thread forward. If you have a rotary vise, you can now rotate this to wrap your hackle on. You can use your hackle feathers on this, hackle pliers on this, but I really don't think you need hackle pliers on this. You just want to wrap this so that those feathers that we just preened out, if you will, are all kind of sprayed and laid out and separated. You may actually need your hackle pliers on this because it's a little shorter than I thought it was going to be. So there we go. Hackle pliers holding that hackle for me, and I let it go. Just gonna do this a little bit easier so I have this rotary. All right, so it's gonna get there. We're just gonna capture that right there. Okay, and these hackle feathers are a little short, so I'm gonna take my hackle pliers off, and I'm gonna put another hackle feather there because I just did not like the fact how it looks with just one. So I'm gonna grab a second hackle feather. I'm gonna preen those just like that. And pluck all these kind of fine feathers off there. That might make it a whole lot easier. Grab me something to grab onto. So I'm gonna tie this in, do a nice little loose wrap, and then pull that so it's not sitting on the head so much. Now I can secure it. There we go. I'm gonna wrap this, well, It would help if I actually secured that, wouldn't it? There we go. There we go. Okay. Now it's good. So I'm going to rotate my rotary vise here and try to build up that hackle just a little bit more. I like a little nice little collar on there. That one hackle feather just didn't quite cut it. You might get a little better hackle feathers, and if that's the case, you may only need one, but if, you may need two like I did here, and that's not a big deal. We're just going to get a few wraps. We're going to pull these hackle feathers back out of the way. Kind of pull that thread nice and tight. So that's step 8. It says tie off. So we're going to go ahead and use our whip finisher, if you know how to use whip finisher. If not, there are a lot of videos on YouTube and fly tying sites that show you how to use a whip finisher, and I'm trying to do this off camera and I just keep messing it up. So here we go. There we go. Tighten that down. You can snap it off or you can cut it off. There we go. So that is almost finished. Not a bad looking fly for a kit. It's a pretty good kit. These you can preen these a little bit right there. Okay, so now we're going to go on step 9 of the instructions. Make a hole through the side of the body using a large needle or a hairline leg puller. You can use your bodkin. Again, just like we made a hole for the head to put the hook shank through, your bodkin will work. It makes a little bit bigger hole, but it will be fine. So we're going to make a hole through the side of the body, and you want to come right about in line with your hook shank, right? Of course, you can't come directly in line with your hook shank because you'll hit the hook shank. So you can either go below it or above it just a touch. And I like just above it. So I'm going to go like directly behind the eye and about halfway between the back of the head and the eyeball. So I want it right about there. And I'm going to come straight as I can. Until I get that bodkin all the way through. And I went crooked and mistakes happen. So I can straighten that up a little bit. There we go. That's a whole lot straighter. So that's straight. Now I'm going to show you a trick here. If you don't have a large needle or a hairline leg puller, you can get one. Certainly get one. The hairline leg pullers work really, really well. But once I make my hole here, I'm just going to pull that out. And very quickly, I'm going to insert my threader into that hole. Okay. You kind of have to do this quick because the hole will close up very fast on you. So now we're going to put our legs through. Our legs for the front of the fly here, the legs of the frog or front legs of the frog. So I'm going to turn this so you can see. And I'm just going to stick these legs into that threader. Just like that. You don't have to snap it in the back. It's gonna snap it in the back anyway, but if you can pull it kind of through like that. So I want to get this about, you don't want it halfway because you're going to pull this threader all the way back through. So just a little less than half. And I'm going to kind of pinch the top and the bottom of the head here and hold my vise at the same time as I gently pull. You don't want to do this too fast, just nice and gently. I'm going to hold the long pair of legs on the other side, right? That's why I said don't do it in exactly half. I'm going to hold the longer pair of legs. I can continue to pull nice and easy. And there's your legs on this side. So now you just take them out of the threader and you can kind of even those up as you want. Okay. And now your legs are in. They're pretty simple, pretty easy. So that was step 9. Step 10 was insert the legs. Step 11, trim the legs to desired length. Longer buggy legs are good. So these are actually pretty good. It goes just below the hook point there. You don't have to worry about these getting fouled on the hook much. They're just 2 little legs. And if a fish happens to bite these off, you have a little extra length there. It's not going to hurt anything. So that is it. That is the kit. That is done. It's a good looking fly. Materials, pretty good materials. So I'm going to stop here. If you guys want to just kind of gaze that for a minute. Um, I'm gonna kind of, I think I'm gonna reposition this camera so I can give you my review like we talked about, because we've unboxed it, we've tied a fly with it. I'm gonna change positions and give you my overall review of the kit and the materials. So hang on just a moment. Okay, so we're completed tying a fly from the Flymen Fishing Company fly tying kit, the double barrel popper bass bug. Overall, the kit comes with everything you need, like I said, except glue, hooks, excuse me, excuse me. It comes with everything you need except glue, thread, and tools. So it's a really well-rounded kit as far as contents go. As far as quality of materials, well, you know what? Let me get a X out of 10 here, X out of 5 stars. So for the overall of the kit, I as far as contents included, I give that a 5 out of 5. It has everything the kit says it needs and everything the kit says it has. So good job on that, 5 out of 5. The value for $16.95, you get 6 flies and the experience of tying those 6 flies and instructions. So that's actually a really good value as well. I'm going to give that probably a 4.5 out of 5. The instructions and the quality of materials, that's where it's lacking just a little bit. The instructions are written for somebody that knows what they're doing, and if you've tied flies before, the instructions are going to get you perfectly done. It has great pictures on the inside, step-by-step instructions, or semi-step-by-step instructions, if you will. So if you've tied before or have any familiarity with tying, then you'll probably be just fine. If you're a brand new tyer, and you really truly need every single step laid out for you, the instructions here lack just a little bit on that. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5 stars. And the quality of materials, let's go to that. First of all, they give you a lot of feathers. So I really do like that. They give you much more feathers than you're going to need. They give you just the right amount of 6 bodies and 6 hooks. So everything else they give you an abundance of. So that's good. That's a great thing. The quality of the feathers, I'm probably going to give that about a 3.5 out of 5. They could be better quality. And I understand that if the better quality materials, then the price goes up. And I totally get that. I think I would rather pay $20 for the kit and have a little bit better feathers than $16.95 and have the feathers that I did, that I had to kind of go through and find suitable feathers and still didn't quite get the look I was wanting. I have a little better quality feathers in my fly tying materials. So as far as quality materials, like I said, at the tops, 4 out of 5, maybe 3.5 out of 5. So there it is. There is a fly tying kit from Flymen Fishing Company on a bass bug. It's a great bug, great fly. I've actually caught a bunch of fish on this particular style of fly using my own materials and not the kit. So I highly suggest you to get the kits, or if you're not into tying, you can buy these already made, and they work extremely well. They pop water, they move, they create motion extremely well. It's just a really good fly to use. If you tie it on a saltwater hook, you can use it for saltwater fish, redfish and things like that. They've got a lot of different colored heads. The orange one we tied with, I've got a chartreuse, a green, a blue, a white, a black. I think they may have 2 or 3 other colors. I can't remember. So that is it. Now, when I tell you about the instructions, I'm a little partial to instructions. My daytime job, the job that I get paid to do on a day-to-day basis, is actually writing instructions for people to do things. I write instructions on how to operate equipment, or how to do this or how to do that. So I look at these instructions with kind of a professional eye, if you will, and you may find them to be perfectly fine. I just find that they're lacking in a few things, and that's really probably my critique coming out from doing this as a living. Not fly tying as a living, but writing instructions as a living. So that's kind of it overall for the entire kit. Now that's taking in the value, the materials, the quality materials, contents, instructions, everything else, I would give this a 4 point. I'm gonna get a 4.6 out of 5, and that's pretty good for a fly tying kit in 2020. And this is their first time doing this, so Flymen Fishing Company, great job. Little room for improvement in my personal opinion. That's just me. Others may find it perfectly fine. So anyway, if you would please take a moment to subscribe below if you're interested. You can make comments, let me know, ask me questions. I'll answer them as quickly and professionally as I can. Subscribe if you want to. Stay tuned for a future video where I'm going to do another kit. The other kit I'm going to do isn't quite Novice. It's going to be a little more advanced, and that is the chocolates finesse changer. So it's a game changer. It's got pretty much the same kind of stuff. Everything that you need to tie. I don't know how many is in here. 6. So 6 finesse game changers is fantastic. I don't know the price on this. I think it's a little more than the $16.95, but I don't want to quote you on that. So look for the other video coming soon for this kit here. There's going to be a list of all the stuff I used in the description below. The kit, how to order, where to order, the equipment I used, the toolkits I used, all the products I used, including Solarez, the Umpqua fly tying kit, the Renzetti saltwater traveler vise. All that information is going to be below, including my video recording equipment setup. So please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.